Welcome to Buzz Talk Live, Industry Perspective. Born in Jersey City, New Jersey, my guest tonight, Vincent Guastini, started his own special effects makeup company at the age of 22. Over the following 35 years, he has positioned himself to be one of the most sought-after special effects men in Hollywood. He specializes in prosthetics, creatures, effects, design, and animatronics. Vincent is mostly known in creating the groundbreaking animatronic wings and creature effects in Kevin Smith's film Dogma. He was also an Oscar hopeful for the movie Requiem for a Dream, where he transferred Ellen Burstyn into a thinning, decaying woman. Vincent and his company VGP Effects and Design Studio has come on to the movie-making scene as an executive producer, co-producer, and an award-winning director. A talented visionary in special effects in today's Hollywood, he lends to us his time tonight to explore Hollywood world of special effects makeup. Now, remember, it's very important that you use that chat function tonight to ask Vincent a question or two and to explore special effects makeup. So please, let's welcome Vincent to the show. How you doing, Vincent?
Hey, how are you, buddy?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Keeping the East Coast warm for me over there?
Say again?
Keeping the East Coast warm for me over
Oh,
there?
yeah. Yeah, actually, it was a very nice day today. And happy Father's Day, by the way. And
Thank you, you too.
thank you. And my son took me out golfing today. It was a very enjoyable day.
Well, that's
I didn't
beautiful.
shoot well, but
I
it was very
talked to
enjoyable.
my son for an hour. I didn't get to go anywhere. He's on the East Coast.
Yeah, yeah. So, wow. So you've been a busy boy out there on the West Coast all these years. I mean, you know, we have a little history ourselves together, but it was early on in your career as a special effects makeup artist. And we once knew John Dodds, and we created the introduction tape to special effects makeup that we produced. My Bill Burke and myself, and you were one of the makeup artists on the tape, and that tape did very well. It's sold many copies, and but I don't know the history of the tape from years ago, and from what you were telling me, it's like, I don't know, is it something like
It became sort of like a Bible of special effects for the videotape educational market, and it was also been in schools all across the United States
right?
and out of the United States. And so after you left the scene on that and weren't a part of it, it did kind of like, in today's terms, go viral.
Is that right?
Yes.
Because I never knew any of this, and when we had our pre-call about the show, you were telling me this for the first time after 35 years, and I was like, "What the hell is this guy talking about?" I mean, it was a tape that we made in I would think the mid '80s, and at the time we were it was Bill Burke's idea, and he put pen to paper, and we created this thing, and who knew? I mean, he did see a need for it, and we were talking about it when we created the project, that there was a makeup artists in the industry, and they wanted to teach other makeup artists the craft, and we came up with this concept, and lo and behold, after all these years.
Well, it was. I mean, he did it before there was the craze for it, so it was one of the first tapes. And I mean, where else? I mean, I was very ambitious back then, and
right.
It's the only tape you can learn how to do an American Werewolf transformation, doing change-o heads, and that's what I created on your tape.
Right.
How to make a change-o head, and then we filmed the transformation of what that would be like to do with the change-o heads that I created for the tape.
Yeah.
Which, now looking back on it, is groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Even for today's standards, because there is no how to do a change-o head, type of a thing today.
And who'd have thought that we were creating the Bible?
Well, one of them. I mean, there are other tapes that came out
No, I know
that
that.
were, but I'm just saying, and it's for what that was, and in its beginning, and what it became. I mean, as of 8 years ago, being at an IMAX makeup convention
Right.
and having a fan pull out of his backpack that tape and wanting me to autograph it was mind blowing.
That is mind
Yeah.
blowing. I mean,
So
to think, after all these years, that tape is still circulating and
yeah,
amazing, amazing
still
stuff.
being sold at Alcone, I believe. Now I don't know if they made a DVD version of it at this point, but I haven't been up on that for a while.
Okay, so they're Alcone's still in business and they're doing well, or
Yes, there's still a makeup supply in New
okay,
York City. Yes, and they have 2 locations.
very nice. Yeah,
Yes,
wow.
so they are. Yeah, they're doing very well and still going strong.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Now, when you were part of that, you were working with John Dodds in, well, I think you either just finished the movie Spookies or something, or
I believe. Yeah, we just finished Spookies, and that's when that tape came up. And we did it in John's basement shop at the time when he was in New Brunswick.
right.
Hmm.
And then you moved on to that, and was Dogma like soon after that, or was that
No, no, that was a long time after that because after John Dodds, which was in the 80s,
right?
and in the early 90s, I opened up my own studio and was doing a lot of low budget independent shows, commercials,
Hmm.
thanks to the help at the time of another makeup artist named of Dick Smith.
Yeah,
And
he's like the Godfather, right?
yeah, he's the Godfather who's passed on
Right.
a couple of years now and in his 90s. And yeah, I was on a show called Monsters with John Dodds,
Oh
and
wow.
Dick Smith recommended me to get my own episodes.
It,
To that Dick Smith was supervising this show.
is that the
So
way you guys met? On
no, I knew Dick before that. I was sending him stuff when I was a kid, trying to impress upon him to take a liking to my work
hmm
and getting his advice. And his advice went from advice to him recommending me for work. And so I immediately opened up a studio. He started sending me clients. I
Nice,
started working on the TV show Monsters for 3 seasons. Got my
nice.
own episodes, got my own shows.
Hmm.
My big break came when Dick Smith recommended me for Lesser Mohicans. I went on that movie, and I soon took over the film as the supervisor of the effects
Nice.
because the current supervisor left the movie.
Oh wow.
So Michael Mann put me in charge of doing the makeup effects on the film, and
He's
that's
such a
all.
great director, Michael Mann.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it was my
phenomenal. Yeah,
favorite director at that point
yeah,
because I love Miami Vice, I loved Heat, I loved the movie Thief that he
yeah.
did with
Oh, Thief was great.
Michael Kahn,
Yeah,
and
De Niro.
so
Yeah,
to be on that film,
yeah,
was a great honor. You
yeah.
know.
No, I mean, you're such a visionary when it comes to design work, and this stuff that you've created. I mean, I have now showing like a werewolf. What was that movie? The werewolf movie that you did.
Well, the most recent one we did was called Hunter's Moon.
Okay.
Um, and we did a werewolf film, a werewolf, with it was my uh,
Was that a
oh
chango head,
Jesus,
or was that part of
no, no, just a full suit.
a full
It
suit?
was just
Okay.
a full, yeah, just a full with the star of the mist, and his name is Thomas Jane. There we go, I got it.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and so he was the star of the movie, and uh, and so we did a full 9 foot tall werewolf suit,
Wow.
and it was an animatronic head, and I did all the animatronics, and my team, did the suit, and we put this
Yeah.
werewolf suit together for this film, and it was cool to work on, doing a practical werewolf movie because, a lot of that stuff has been CG as of late, a
Yeah.
lot of times. So it's nice when, that practical gets to have its chance again,
Yeah.
because it is the best way to
I
do
want to
things.
talk to you about practical versus CG because in today's Hollywood, everything it's all computer graphics, and you got a team of animators in a room, and they knock this stuff out. But the real craft, I mean, that's great. A graphic artist and all that. It's wonderful work, but the real work is the practical work, what you do, because you're actually creating this stuff from an idea, a concept. I mean, when somebody gives you your work from a movie company or a producer, executive producer, uh, they say, okay, this is the movie, right? I mean, explain it, because how does it go from a an idea, a concept for a movie into your hands, and then they say, okay, Vincent, make me something to reflect this scene or this motion picture that we're doing.
Normally, how it works, we get sent a script. I break down all the effects after I read it. Put all the effects into a breakdown of what I think I'm going to be responsible for, how other departments would cross over,
Right.
as far as CG or wardrobe or even straight makeup. After that's all broken down, uh, I say how much we could do practically for the budget that's given,
Right.
and from there we do designs. The designs after we've won the bid, of course, and the pricing.
Sure.
Once the designs are finalized and the director picks the designs he likes, we then go to sculptures and breaking the sculptures down, making the molds, and then creating the actual effects from an old artist way of which is sculpting, molding, and
It's
basically
incredible. It's incredible. I mean,
turning something that's on a written page into something alive.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I got over all these years, I've gotten to appreciate the practical effect of movie making, and all these horror films, and the blood and the gore and all that stuff. It's so realistic to the eye, where when a CG scene comes in, it's like, it's computer generated. I mean, it is what it is, but
Well, not to put CG down.
no, no.
I love all visual effects, and when they're all done well, and there's a symbiosis of them working together,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm excited, and I like when that happens, like Jurassic Park, Starship Troopers,
Right.
things like that, where the style of the CG actually works in tandem with the physical effects. Now, when the physical effects are a little bit better and then the CG comes in and it's cartoony
Right.
and they're not really meshed, then it's a blaring contradiction in the film and in the effects. It takes you out of the movie. But
Yeah.
when they're both balanced, because there are bad makeup effects too, and CG saves that, and vice
Exactly.
versa.
Yeah.
So it goes hand in hand. And when those opportunities happen, or it's a rare like I said, symbiosis of those things working, then I don't sit there and go, oh, boo, CG.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
done well, I'm all for it,
Right. Right.
and
Well,
so
I mean,
no,
over the years, that has gotten like off the charts.
there are some movies you sit there and go, I'm looking at video game graphics, I'm looking at
Yeah.
a cartoon,
Right. Right.
and it's almost become acceptable to the
Yeah.
audience now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
It's true.
are the rarities now. I mean, we've had it before this whole COVID thing too, where, practical has gotten a big comeback, as far as doing a lot more practical. I mean, I've never stopped working. I have other friends who own shops like K&B who do Walking Dead, which is a practical show that's been going on for over 6 years.
Hmm.
So they're doing practical makeups for that and Fear of the Walking Dead.
Right.
So, and so when people go, well, practical effects is dying, that's really not true. So, the reason why I have, clothes on and paying my bills and having a shop is because of practical effects. So if it was truly, truly dead, as this rumor's been going on since Jurassic Park,
Right.
there wouldn't be anybody creating makeup effects for all these TV shows and movies. So I'm not one of those people that go to the negative right away. Oh, it's being phased out. No, no, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just changed. That's all. It's
Uh,
changed.
one of the we have some chats coming in, Vincent, and
Sure.
one question is, what's been your hardest project to date?
The Wings and Dogma were very challenging. The stuff we did for Requiem for a Dream was very challenging as far as um, doing a realistic transformation that didn't look like makeup. And so, those had anything that's technical, that or something that has relies on the effect for the entire movie. It can be very challenging. But those things,
Animatronics is I mean anything that's mechanical. There's always a failure rate on it. Whoever's
yeah,
drive.
there is. Yeah, depending on how prepped you are, how much the budget will and the timing allowed to those things. But one of the most challenging things was definitely the Wings and Dogma, and just working with um, older, mature women that have to go through a difficult makeup period every single day, which was happening on Requiem for a Dream.
Right,
So,
and we'll get into Requiem here in a bit, but I want to run this. You did something with dinosaurs, and you created some dinosaur puppets, or they were full size suits, or
puppets, animatronics, full suit with animatronics in tandem.
Mhm.
So we're talking about the whole gambit, almost like what a Jurassic Park would be. And so I did my Jurassic Park type effects
Right.
for an independent film that was shooting in Austria.
Yeah, I'm running a clip now, and it shows a baby dinosaur that's coming to life, and it's I'm blown away, man. I mean, this is you know this is this is practical, man. This is what.
That was one of the simpler puppets that I actually built and did the animatronics on. It's a very simple thing, and sometimes simple makes things look positively alive.
Right.
And the more complicated thing, of course, is trying to get somebody in a suit, a dinosaur suit, convincingly, and having a heavy animatronic on them, and they're on stilts,
Yeah.
and they're bent over, and they have hand extensions, and they can't see. So that is the ultimate challenge for sure.
And for something like this movie here, do you have your own animatronic people like that? There's a guy that has a dinosaur in his hand, and he's working the feet and everything. Do these people come onto the film and jump in the suit and take off with it, or
Well, I mean, when you're out here, you build up relationships. You could be on one movie that you did creatures for, and then the production will say, "Hey, I know this guy that can be in creature suits," and then you work with them on one movie, and then when you work, most of the time when I work with these people, you wind up building a relationship and a
Right.
friendship that
Right.
you wind up hiring them over and
Sure.
over and over and over.
Right.
So it's the same thing, like Lucky was in that suit for the dinosaur. I have other relationships with other creature performances. Another well-known man is Douglas Tate, who's been in Hellboy and Star Trek and a ton of movies that he does creature performances in. And so I work with him quite a lot. So yeah, I have a set of people and that I've worked with over the years that you just call up, and a lot of them are friends.
Now, a lot of your workshop, and we didn't even get to what's behind you and where you're remoting from tonight, but it is your workshop, it's your studio.
Mhm.
And you got some of your monsters behind you. So yeah, I know, that's great stuff, man. It's awesome. So now, do you have a staff, or is it a freelance based?
It's mostly freelance based, and that's mostly all the studios how they work out here, except if say you have a client like Marvel where they're doing just constant, movie after movie, then you have a kind of a permanent staff in place.
Right.
A lot
right.
of the shops out here, we'll work for 6 months on something, then the project ends, you lay everybody off, they go off to other shops, or you hire people as many as you need on a job to job basis. So I can have anywhere from 1 or 2 people to 20 people or more,
Sure, sure.
depending on the job.
And
Like the
depending upon
dinosaur job at one
budget,
point,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that, and I mean, the dinosaur job at one point had over 15 people, 20 people, in like 6 months to build the dinosaur.
Yeah.
So, there's specific jobs, specific client personnel that you'll need to build at a certain effect.
Yeah, I mean, some of the dinosaur stuff. I mean, and to have somebody in that suit, um, uh, and it's is there mechanics? Is there mechanical in the suit as well? So is it how should I say? Is it structured so the operator in the suit is grabbing something and moving? Because I noticed that in that last little bit that we saw, there was a dinosaur walking around the shop, and it had to be a small human in there, moving the thing around.
Well, he's in the suit. He's grabbing finger tongs
Yeah.
that are inside the hands to make the extended fingers move. And the rest is all operators offhand with radio control units. So
Oh,
it's all
okay.
radio controlled for the facial expressions and things like that in the mouth and the head.
Right,
And the
right.
rest is in tandem with the performer moving along with the dinosaur's movements.
Yeah. I mean, that's uh, the actual dinosaur itself in the period where the dinosaurs came from. Uh, is there any specific dinosaurs that you sought after in your design?
Yeah, it's a velociraptor, and so it didn't look like the one in Jurassic Park too much. We tried to give it a certain paint scheme that was different.
That was one of the
And
chats, by the way, Vincent. I had to talk around the subject. I wanted you to say it was a velociraptor, and you nailed it. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, look, you've done from A to Z, in all your effects, and going back to doing makeup on a human as opposed to creating a creature, putting a mask on and working it. Is there pros and cons, or is there risk and rewards of doing certain things like that? Or
well, I mean, everything's a challenge, but I mean, it certainly is easier to put a prosthetic on somebody than building a full-size dinosaur.
right,
So, putting a second skin or changing somebody into a character is certainly more easier in an approach to do than say something that's mechanical and has to be coordinated with off camera operators doing RC units along with a performer inside a suit.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, a prosthetic is definitely more and less complicated
yeah,
depending on the character. Like something that's an old age
yeah,
has to look absolutely natural. I mean, and there's been a lot of old ages that are beautiful, but there's also been a lot of old ages, even though the work and the sculpture and technically beautiful, there's something still fake about it. So when it's not fake and it's totally realistic,
right.
you can't tell they're wearing makeup at all. That to me is the highest success, and
So
that's a prosthetic thing that's very challenging.
and speaking of which, we're going to go right into it now. Is the Requiem movie where Ellen Bernstein, you applied this makeup to her, and it was done so well that I
Very
was looking
exciting.
at pictures, in a photo
prosthetics.
album, and
This is not one of the fat
I
necks.
couldn't
This is
believe
one
what
of
I
the
was
skinny
watching.
necks, probably
So
towards the end of the film.
I'm running it
Well,
now.
I mean, a
aging,
lot of that
and
was
why
is
they
that
sort
the
of
approach,
make her
like
emaciate a little bit
not to,
more.
I'm
I think
not.
they're
Rick
actually
Baker's the best,
might be gluing it
when
on
it
or
comes to
taking it. Yeah, it looks like they're
prosthetics,
taking it off.
for
Oh, this is a
characters.
nightmare for her. No, they're putting
And
it
I
on.
mean,
She
the
gets
Nutty
blow dried, she
Professor
gets
and
picked, she
Coming
gets
to America are
pulled
some of the best
4 hours a day. It was
character
horrible.
makeups
It's nice 'cause I
on
didn't
a
have to do
well-known
that,
actor. I
Right,
mean, just
right.
the old
She
Jewish
was,
man that he
she had
did
to suffer through all of it.
for
A
Coming to
lot of work,
America, which
very
was based
technical,
off his
very
father,
difficult.
the look.
Oh, is that
Um,
right?
yeah. So that's amazing. But as good as that is, especially with the Nutty Professor, you know that somebody's wearing something because you know Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know Eddie Murphy's not that fat. So when you look at him in The Nutty Professor, you go, that's an amazing makeup because it looks like a real fat guy. But in our case, I had a little bit of advantage because Ellen was older.
Right.
And so it was a challenge to me. My concept was I didn't want anybody going, wow, that's a really good makeup. I wanted somebody to go, wow, she really is changing in the movie. So that's why when I sculpted the pieces, that's why I'm proud of that, because a great deal, especially the last stage, I was, mostly, I was the designer,
Yeah.
broke down the effects and made sure that each look, came from me. And, and I had, another sculptor on there, I had Joe Macchia, Louis Zakarian, but the final stages and a lot of the looks, was applied by me.
Yeah.
And was dictated by me. So I wanted to make sure that whatever was going on her face looked real. And we didn't have a lot of,
not to get into
we didn't
the
have a
weed.
lot of,
Yeah, not to technically get into the weeds on as far as the positive and negative, molds that you guys have to make for every actor. That's how you create the the masks or the prosthetics that you actually apply to the face, because it has to be like a second skin to the actor, so
pretty
the actor
much,
can
yeah.
win, so they can act. So there's a whole other procedure.
Can't be covered in rubber. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's a whole other procedure that goes behind that. So given the project and given the movie, what's the lead time on something like that, as far as getting the actor in the studio, getting a positive or negative mold of the actor, and then going from there?
Well, everything is different. In my career, like Rick Baker and other makeup artists, they would get 6 months. Dick Smith would get 6 months to a year.
Right.
I had 6 weeks.
Wow.
So at that time, and I had an hour and a half to do what I had to do to get her in and out, because that's what she demanded. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't a smooth running project.
No.
For me to do all of that. First of all, I've never done highly realistic prosthetic makeup of an old woman at that point in my career. 2,
you pulled it off, man.
Well, at 2, I had it was a $4 million low budget independent movie. 3, I didn't have a lot of time, and 4, I didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And 5, the actress hated me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So
well,
I mean, now the reason why I bring that up is because I don't want everybody thinking that every project is the same.
Right.
When you're working under these circumstances, as opposed to say Nutty Professor, and these people have months,
right,
and hundreds of thousands of dollars to do all of this.
Now, do you have a working budget when you do something like this?
I mean, of course I do. And when I read the script, I knew that this was Oscar gold. That this movie was above a lot of other films, and I saw Pi.
Right.
I wanted to work with Darren, and we wind up in the end. It was a very successful. It was one of some of my best work. I have every aspect to thank both Ellen Bernstein and Darren for that, and I wound up working with Darren again 30 years later on another movie that Arnold Schwarzenegger starred in called Aftermath, that we did bodies.
Okay.
So I worked with Darren twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
So I mean, we didn't get along, but I guess he forgave me 30 years later.
Well, I mean, look, the actor, that's sitting in the chair getting made up,
it's torture.
It's torture. Right, exactly, because you're in makeup for what, 4 hours or something like that?
Well, I mean, at this point, I had to get her in and out. Had to get her in the makeup in an hour and a half. So you're talking about a makeup that should normally take 3 or 4 hours, and now under her specific direction, because she's the star and can dictate at that time, I had to get her in.
It makes it difficult.
Except for the final stage, she let me have 3 hours, so that was cool, and it wound up, I thought, being a really successful last stage because it closes the movie. She's
I mean,
pretty decrepit
you would think. Look, all these high talented or high respected actors and actresses, they all have handlers. They all have people behind them. You would think that one of their people that are in their little bubble would come to them and say, look, this is going to take some time, and kind of like, give them like the old, here we go, you have to sit in a chair, be patient, blah, 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 and not have the actor or actresses, come to you and start saying, well, I only got an hour and a half. You got to hurry up with this. I mean, it doesn't
Well,
work
I
that
mean,
way.
part of it is you got to remember, Ellen at the time hadn't made her comeback yet. She was, she was in that aspect, although a very well respected and great actress. She wasn't getting the role she was supposed to. This was an independent, low budget movie. And although when you walk into a film, you go, wow, I hope this is going to be good. It's very rare that you work on a movie like that and think that it's going to become an epic, groundbreaking, amazing, critically acclaimed hit. And that's what that became. So we were working on something small that outgrew the budget, and thanks to the talent of Darren's directing, and the cinematography and the whole team effort. In the end, it wound up being an amazing movie. Which I saw the potential of that just in the script.
Sure. So sometimes you just gotta bite your tongue and
yeah, it's a gamble.
Yeah.
It really is. I got to thank Darren as demanding and as difficult it was to work with him. He's the one that really was the impetus in pushing me to the very limits to do the best job I could possibly do.
Now, in that same film, there's a prosthetic arm that you guys cut, and I'm going to show it now. So, as far as the cutting of the arm, well, let's just watch the clip here. You can't watch it, but I can watch it.
That's the fake arm. First you dress the wounds, make sure the makeup matches.
Roll sound, please.
And you go for it.
Yeah, that's pretty gory
Nice
stuff.
and bloody.
A lot of testing on that. I did a lot of testing of different materials with that arm.
Yeah.
To get it just correct.
Yeah, no, that's
And it's just for a split
I'd
second
say that
shot
was a
in the
successful
movie.
yeah,
arm being
exactly.
cut off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
It's all,
wanted to make it look real, and at the time it was done with a material that so when you held the arm, it didn't collapse like a foam rubber arm. So
Yeah.
it's
So
we
made
did a
like
few
out
takes.
of dashboard material you would find in your car. Was
Is
the
that
inner
right?
Structure, and it was soft skin. It actually had veining of tubes inside of it, so that when the real saw hits the tubes, it would explode like a real arm. And we also had blood feeding through the prop as well.
Now I always often wonder, with a lot of these scenes in movies, and you just can go crazy with the effect and the blood and the gore and all that. But is there a level of as far as knowing the body itself and knowing how much blood would eventually come out of a scene, something like that? Like, let's say for that scene, you got this cutting of the arm. Is there that much blood coming out of the arm, or is it
there? Yeah, there would be if you're hitting an artery, sure.
Yeah.
And it's not no tourniquet on it. I mean, and it's also seen for a split second.
Yeah.
So we did 2 takes. We had one arm that was really exploded because I pumped up the blood through the tubing, and it was stopped up, so it was a lot of pressure. So when it went in, it just exploded.
Yeah, right. So for the people that don't understand that there's a lot of people in that one little scene, as we witnessed, that there's at least like 4 or 5 people for that one little, arm. You have somebody that's pumping the blood, right? You got somebody that's holding it and cradling it and moving it like it would be on a person. And then, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that,
no, it is. And there's actually an effect in that film that nobody even knows about that is a fully mechanical fake animatronic hand that we built. And it's for the scene where, she is Jennifer Connelly is in a restaurant and she stabs a guy in the hand with the fork, a doctor.
Really?
In her head, she imagines that she's stabbing him with the fork. It's a full animatronic hand, and nobody knows it. They just think it's like, it's a prop fork and there's some blood, but that's a full animatronic where all the
Wow.
fingers moved,
So,
and we could slip off one skin for one scene and then slip on an entirely new skin for the second take. And I had to beg Darren at one point where I go, please, can for the second take, can we just put on, how long is it going to take? I said, less than 4 minutes. Can I have 4 minutes? So you got to remember too, back then, visionary director, but didn't work with effects before. I was his first effects artist.
right.
So there was a lot of not knowing on their end a little bit. But on the other end, visually, and he knew what he wanted, and he knew what he wanted to get, but there wasn't a lot of patience for effects on that film. So I had to, circumnavigate that. And, I'm glad I did, because it's a very, effective movie.
So I got a couple more chats for you, Vincent.
Sure.
Dinger Bros is saying, what was the longest project you ever done? The longest, like, working project that you created, like a lot of monsters, a lot of visual prosthetics for?
Well, I was doing designs on and off for the reincarnation of the Thing for years on end, because it went from one producer to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. On a film shoot, I was on Less Than Mohicans for about 7 months, from doing pre-production to being on set. Same with Super Mario Brothers, which is like 4 or 5 months. But
Now,
those days are kind of gone. There's not a lot of that going on now. Even on a big budget movie, if you're on there, building and being on the whole thing for 3 months, you're lucky.
Yeah, that's. I wanted to build off of that question or that answer was are you on like when you take on a project for 7 months? Can you take on any other project? Are you locked in? Is your studio and workshop?
No, I mean, we take on, normally there are 3 or 4, 5 or 6, 7 or projects going on all at once. And, depending on, I don't like doing that, but I've, a lot of times, you do it because you have to keep your crew employed.
Yeah.
And so, if you have a good system in place and you can manage that, which is what I do, then you can do it. But I really like one project after another. This way my focus isn't all over the place, because something's going to suffer when it's that spread out.
The other,
we do more than one project at a time.
Yeah, another chat was actually I think he's a buddy of mine. He had a makeup artist that worked on him one day after just finishing Edward Scissorhands. Johnny Depp never complained once. So I guess that resorts back to Requiem, that the actress, sitting in the chair. But yeah, I mean, in 3 months shooting that film, he said. I mean, it just takes a certain type of person, and you have to almost be like a psychiatrist to these people,
No, it's true. I mean, I went
crazy.
through a similar thing on, there was a found footage movie that we did that was quite popular, became a big hit. It was called The Taking of Deborah Logan. And that was a found footage film with a lot of animatronics in it, and a similar transformation that was done in Requiem. Basically, the movie is a found footage version of Requiem for a Dream and The Exorcist. That's really what that film is like, kind of like has the feel of.
Right, because
really
Requiem for a Dream is about being killed in your dreams or something like that, right? I mean,
yeah, but I mean, The Taking of Deborah Logan had the same type of transformation, and it is the actress in the chair. How much she's able to take, how much she will tolerate, especially when they're a middle-aged or senior citizen.
Yeah.
it's a whole different.
It's a whole nother ball game. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
a whole nother ball game.
And so your company VGP, you partnered with other motion picture companies, or you how
No,
are you?
not really. No, we don't partner with other. I mean, not unless it's on a producer or director level. But no, we don't partner with other effects companies. We. I mean,
You're your own separate entity, right?
yeah. I mean, sometimes we'll work on a certain effect, and then some other company will come in and work on some other part of the movie. But mostly when I get hired, it's mostly because I'm running the whole show.
Running the whole show, yeah. And then I
Yeah.
think that's probably the best way to do it anyway. This way, you don't have there's no seconds or thirds. It's your vision for the movie because the producer has you in the driver's seat, and that's
Well, most of the time, which is nice, I've been spoiled, in a lot of ways. And what I mean by spoiled artistically is I'm giving a lot of freedom. And when
yeah,
I talk to my other buddies on other shows, there's a lot of times they're not given them. They're micromanaged.
yeah,
They're committized to 7 or 8 different types of opinions. And so that type of committee type thing is a very frustrating process. Normally, you only went through that when you work on a commercial. When there's a
hmm
commercial or some sort of high fashion thing, it gets to that type of mentality. But I've been very lucky to get a lot of freedom.
yeah. No, I mean, you gotta have that because then your creative juices there's no blocking. You don't have
Yeah,
to
and it
worry
also
about
takes my
answering to people, and
yeah, it also takes me to be a diplomat, and I'm Italian, and I'm also from Jersey, so I have to put a lot of my
exactly.
Italian passions and my New Jerseyisms to the side, and then I got to be politically correct, and it's taken a long
Uh,
time to
I
navigate
could just
that.
imagine. I can just
So
imagine.
I've gotten it down pretty well, but there are times I get off the phone, I want to throw the laptop through a window, for sure.
Oh
But
my god.
I've grown wiser and calmer in my old age.
Yeah. Um. Cabin fever. What's
Fun
cabin?
project. Loved working on it.
Mm. I
In the Caribbean for 36 days.
really.
Yeah, beautiful location. And I didn't care whether the movie was going to be garbage or whatever was going on because I liked the script and I really had a lot of fun. We got a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
It wound up being a fun little movie to work on. And I think we beat any of the Cabin Fever movies that have ever been out.
Amazing stuff that I'm
Thank
looking
you.
at
Yeah,
right
I'm,
now.
I'm pretty proud
Amazing
of what we
stuff.
did on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did a lot of work on that. And I think in this case, thanks to the director, it
Yeah.
shows. We got a lot of freedom on that, and it was fun to work on.
Well, I mean, just what I'm looking at here is some decaying woman and a full body. Um, my God. So so when you cast it, you had to cast the whole body, right?
Yes, we did.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing stuff, man.
Full suits, prosthetics,
Wow.
dummies, corpses. I mean, it was the gambit. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
a lot of times a movie when you work on something like that doesn't get a lot of attention because it's not. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's not.
It's not it's not mainstream or whatever.
Right. Yeah. It's an independent small movie, so. But the work we did, I think, was as high of a caliber if it was a blockbuster.
I tell
It
you,
was,
the amount of work that goes into an independent film is crazy because the artistic freedom is there, and it allows the makeup artists like yourself to, because you got to remember that it's an independent film, so the people that are behind the movie, they're kind of relying on you, to say, hey, Vincent, look,
oh
go,
no,
go
totally.
crazy, man.
Yeah, no, totally. And that's the type of atmosphere I like working. I like working with a director that's open-minded and
Yeah,
creative and lets
yeah.
me just do what I want to do and gives me a lot of freedom. Those are the fun projects for me, especially on a low budget.
Yeah.
You know, because then it's like, all right, we're not going to make a lot of money, but as on a creative level, we're going to win.
So more chats are coming in from SF Salicito, also a Jersey Italian born. He's like, he's blown away with your stuff. So cool, good stuff. He says, I need an artist to create 3D dinos for a children's series.
Okay.
Yeah, you
All right, I'm hired.
Yeah, it's it. Vincent's your man there, Salcedo. And you know, it made Cafferty. Yeah. Well, after the show, you'll see the chats that I've been calling out, and people are chiming in. But it's so Cabin Fever. You were away, you said, and you how long did that take, that picture?
I think we were given like 2 months to build everything,
Yeah.
and then we were on set for 36 days. Me and another artist named of Gage Hubbard, who was
Okay.
on my crew, that helped me apply and do a lot of the on-set effects
Oh
on
wow.
the film. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's good stuff. Now, what's new? What's coming up, or what's I seen something that some animatronic stuff that you're working on.
Well, it's actually an articulated fake body, and
Okay.
so it looks like animatronics, but what is it? It's just
Oh,
it's an articulated armature that a friend of mine, Jerry Constantine, built for us for the film, and it's so that every point on the body moves like a realistic body. Because in the film, Megan Fox is handcuffed to this actor, and he shoots himself. And so through the whole film, she's dragging his body through the whole movie while she's being chased by the bad guys trying to kill her. So
oh,
this is
okay.
a thriller. It's called Till Death,
Till
and
death.
it's shooting in Bulgaria,
Okay.
and
So that's in production now.
it's in production now.
Okay.
And we're building the main special effects, the prosthetics for the actor, and we're building a full dummy of him to represent him being handcuffed to Megan Fox.
Now
And
with the animatronics and the uh, the mechanicals behind it, do you actually create the mechanicals too, or I mean from
well, like
actual lightweight steel? You know, the lightweight aluminum.
I'm more old school, so there's a lot of animatronics that I do
Mhm.
that are old school, and some of them, like in the werewolf, I had made a first for me a fully mechanical head that when you opened your jaw, it would activate other things in the face. So self-contained. That's what a self-contained mechanical head is. No radio control, just done by opening the mouth of the actor. The thing will snarl or move its ears,
Mm.
things like that.
Mm.
So I do a lot of the animatronics. And then when it gets overly complicated, gets into radios and really like high tech stuff, I'll hire somebody like a Lars Jungard who actually did the animatronics on the dinosaur that you're seeing there. Is an old friend for many decades, and is an amazing animatronics artist. And I'll hire somebody like that to come in and say, well, we're going to do this or that. So and most of it's radio control. So it gets outside my wheelhouse.
Right.
But a lot of the stuff, like the baby dinosaur and other simpler mechanics, are done by cable or things like that,
Right.
old school
Right.
stuff.
Right. Old school.
I
Right.
do a great deal of the animatronics here as well.
And I don't think we've touched on the alien stuff yet. I have an aliens reel here that I want to.
Yeah, we did it was another one of these things. Unfortunately, it was for a show called Cosmos, which was basically if you took the show Cheers and made it into a Star Wars cantina type thing, which is an amazing idea.
A great idea, yeah.
Yeah, and it was for a pilot, and Stephen First was the director, the guy that played Flounder in Animal House.
Wow.
And he was the director on it, and soon after production, he died. Of some health complications that he had, some a compromised health with.
Flounder died. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Flounder is dead.
Oh my
And
God.
a really nice man, and
He looked
was
like
a
a
real
great guy.
guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the production's going to go at this point now, or what they're going to do with it. I know they're trying to sell it, And as you know, there are a lot of pilots made, and some pilots see the light of day and other pilots don't.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then to complicate things, the director being dead, you know, and then trying to find an editor that's going to carry on that vision or whatever's going to happen. I really don't know. All I know is we did a lot of amazing work for it. And so I put a reel together of, you know, what making of or something like that is, because, you know, if somebody wants to hire me for a Star Trek movie or a Mandalorian TV series or something to that effect, they know that we could do that type of work as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is great stuff. You know, you're working with the concept, you're working with, you know, what you create as far as the alien, and then you have to think, okay, how are we going to make this thing move? And, you know, you have to come up with that concept too. You know, you have to create the skeleton.
Well, I mean, we had some amazing, like one of the designs of the aliens from Barlow, who's done incredible, Wayne Barlow, who's an incredible artist, you know, and then Ralph McQuarrie, actually, the designer of Star Wars aliens, designed an alien for that as well. So we actually did 2 designs of aliens that came from the mind of Wayne Barlow and Ralph McQuarrie. So that was an honor there, you know. It's a shame that the project is either in limbo or I don't know what it is, but we did some really great work, I feel.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
I mean,
someday
it's so clean too, you know. The work is I mean, because, you know, we are in the world of HD and now, you know, 4K and all that. So, you know, you have to take that extra step in all your creativity and how, like, you know, I just saw an alien's face where the detail in the actual skin, you know, of the alien, because of the resolution of how it's filmed and you know, projected. You know, it's
well, I mean, the one thing I'm good at is, I think one of my strongest points, besides paint work and art, you know, and artwork and things like that, is I feel I have an excellent eye.
Yeah.
And I'm not being an egotistical person by saying that.
Right.
I think I have a better eye than I am as an artist.
Yeah.
So I think what you know, my eye, sees everything like a movie.
Yeah.
And being such a fan of film and effects and things like that, that knowledge has been accumulated. And then working on films and working with great directors, you know, James Gunn, Joe Dante, Michael Mann, Clint Eastwood, directors like that.
Yeah.
You know, when you work around those people, their mentality there and their way of doing things will rub off. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, chats are chatting away here. I think they're chatting at each other, Vincent. But
well, that's great.
You know, I think it's Billy Senia, true genius, true creative genius. That's from Billy Senia, and Billy Senia is a creative director in advertising, and he's been on on the advertising end of things and commercials but he's blown away with your stuff and
oh, thank you. Tell him thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You just did. This is awesome, and it was awesome to have you on the show tonight, Vincent. And
my eyes just bugged out because my girlfriend just got me 2 cold drinks. So if anybody goes, why did he suddenly go bonkers in the middle of the podcast? Is because they just saw these 2 cold drinks.
No,
here.
There's
so
one thing.
Nobody thinks I'm doing anything weird here.
There's one thing about this show, Vince. You got to know. I encourage drinking. Please.
Cool.
Please.
Awesome.
Anything you want to do is fine with me. Yeah, no, I mean, I and like everybody else that's been chatting, and we're just blown away with your stuff and your creative genius, man.
Oh, and, thank you so much.
Keep it going, my friend. Keep it going.
I will.
Yeah.
So are we wrapping up? It sounds like we're wrapping up.
We're wrapping up, but I need you to stay right there and don't touch anything.
You got it, buddy.
All right. Hang in there. Thanks.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for the questions.
All right. There you go. Wow, Vincent, he's a genius. The man is a genius, and I'm so lucky to know him. And I tell you, the next time I'm out in L.A., I'm gonna give him a ring and check out his workshop.
You should,
And
man. It's a cool shop back here. If you had more time, I'd give you the tour.
yeah, no, I mean, I wish you had a camera, Vincent, that you could walk around your workshop.
Oh, I could. I could pick up the laptop. That's not a problem.
You want to do that right now?
Yeah, sure I can.
This is awesome.
Here you are. All right, well, this is the conference room.
Okay.
Those are the wings from Dogma.
Oh, wow. Look at
There's
this.
some aliens. Look at this giant creature you saw on that thing with the aliens.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Some Battlestar Galactica stuff. Some other aliens.
Wow.
Cylon.
How big is your shop for square footage?
I think it's like 7,000 square feet, somewhere around there.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, this is the main art room.
Nice.
We have a whole outside. We have molds. I'll go out there in a minute.
Oh, this is cool. This is extra footage, fellas.
This is the animatronics room where we build a lot of our mechanics and.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
All in here. We have to come out of the art room. Come out to the main room where we do all our sculpting and molding.
Wow.
And then out here is where we do all our dirty work and all our mold storage.
Oh, the molds, yeah.
Our mold
right.
storage.
Wow.
We have the foam room and a giant oven right in here where we bake everything.
And that's where you bake everything, right? Right.
And there's the body we're working on right now for the Megan Fox film.
Oh, wow. Look at
That's
that.
the mold.
Okay.
That's a fiberglass mold.
Oh, wow.
And so the skeleton that you saw is inside that.
Oh, okay.
There's your quick little tour.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you for
Giant
doing that.
ants.
That's extra footage
Oh.
for everybody. That's awesome.
Yep. Giant creature from a TV series we did.
What is that? A gorilla? No. What is it?
Oh, Polybius. Yeah, it's a video game monster come to life. It was inspired by Strange Invaders. Comes out of a video game.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Mark Hamill was the host on the show.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was for Helu.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
So that's the tour, guys.
All right. Signing off. Thanks a lot, Vincent.
Signing off. Later, everybody.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And, Tuesday night, stick with me because we're going to have a boxer again. We're going to go out to Hollywood again, Vincent, and we're going to see a boxer that trains actors and actresses for movie roles. Steve Petromali. I don't know if you know Steve, but he's he used to box, and now he's out in Hollywood, and he has his own training facility. So Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in on that show. That should be really interesting to see and to talk to his background and also MMA fighting. He trains in MMA.
Awesome.
Actually,
awesome.
He told me he train. Look at me. He trains. Who's the actor from The Punisher? The Punisher on Netflix.
Oh, okay. The TV series.
Yeah.
I don't know. I only know Thomas Jane Punisher, and I know what's his name from Rocky. That's the only two Punishers.
Did you do any Punisher stuff back in the day? You know, the old Punisher.
No,
movie?
I didn't. I bidded on it actually. With Galen Hurd was a producer for the movie, but I didn't get it, and it wound up going to Canada. So they hired Canadian locals to do the effects. But I was up for it, but no, I didn't work on it. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you should have won the Academy Award.
Thank you. That's what everybody says.
Stick with it, my friend. Stick with it. All right. Ciao.
Great time, buddy.
All right. Take care. Thanks again, everybody. Tune in on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thanks.